In this video, we're going to be using Plasticity to design a Sci-Fi comm device. Let's get started. I'm going to start with a cube, just make it a bit smaller and a bit longer. And then we're going to grab this one, Shift D, and thicken it a bit more. And widen it here. Let me see that. This one might be a little bit too long. Maybe it's fine. Then we're going to run a pipe, a cylinder, sorry. Rotate it here, and we're going to drop it in the middle. So it's GG, hold control and pop it in the middle. Scale it a bit, can be a little bit larger, it's fine. And we're going to move it in here, right? And maybe make it a bit larger and move this to the bottom. Move this a little bit higher. Then we're gonna offset it and push it through, right? Somewhere here for now. It's a placeholder. We're going to run an isoparam here, so Control R, pop a loop, grab this edge here and drop it down. We can make this one smaller, don't worry about it. Right. Cool. And bring this one a little bit higher. And drop an isoparam here on this one. And we're gonna delete these two. And we're gonna loft them, right? So select these two and loft them. Whoops. One more time. Add the G0 and merge them together for now. Here at the back, we will run an isoparam and we will scale this out. Extrude it here and align it with the bottom. And then we're going to make this one a little bit smaller, maybe. Something like that. Something like this will do. I wouldn't mind this chamfer to be a little bit less steep, so something like this maybe. So we could nuke these two and loft this one at G0. Yeah. Something like that we're gonna be better. Join this. We're gonna insert it a bit and move it in, then insert it some more and move it in, and for now this will do. How are we looking? Looking good. This face here could be either the face or this one could be a little bit larger. Let me just bring this face closer here, like this. Okay. And then we're gonna have to move this one, so we're gonna have to, whoops, we're gonna have to redo this a little bit. I want it a bit closer here, like this. Cool, and yeah, this one needs to move, so let's just reset this. Control R, Shift, right, to align it here, and then drop this edge down, right, something like that. And then we're going to mirror this. So F and freestyle mirror, boom, and this is a little bit too far. And we're going to bevel these to a full bevel. Okay. This one could be moved closer here. Hold shift and there we go. That's actually good, right? And this could be a little bit smaller too. So just a little bit smaller. Awesome. And you know what? This could be thinner a little bit. And what we do instead, let me just nuke this. Extend this edge here. So I'm going to use a Shift Q command, which is a radial menu. You can create your own. You can go to Google and search Plasticity radial menu. You can create your own radial menus with whatever options you want, you know. It's customizable. I have two. One for my edge, face, etc., just like in machine tools. And the other one is for useful tools. So it's convenient. So let's grab this one. So actually this one, Shift D, and let's extrude this here, and let's patch it, and let's move it in, and let's align it here with this. Boom, right? And then that didn't work, but it's okay. Let's grab this one and Q and cut it. So you're gonna get this circular cut here, which is cool. And we're gonna run a bevel here, but before we do that, let's just run this through. Okay, perfect. And then run a bevel here. In fact, maybe first we should run a bevel here. Right. And the same bevel here. So shift click. And then these two on the bottom should be a bit, whoops. Let me just hold shift and control. Nuke this nonsense, there we go. Here we need a larger one. And repeat it here, boom, right? And then we're gonna have the bevel on the top, but we can do it later. So that's that. And in addition, here we're gonna have two more isoparams here, and we're gonna have kind of like a Shift D, Shift F, and thicken one here, and let's just run a bevel on them. So another one here. So Control R and Shift D, Shift F, thicken. And we're gonna have more or less the same bevels here, so that's cool. And I'm gonna move this one a little bit lower, so somewhere here. I can actually run a bevel here and here. Right, cool. So that's that. Now we need a bevel here as well. Like a supple one, and here too. And then we're gonna have a bevel here, small one. Here too, but before we run this bevel, we need a bevel on this one and this one. So this could be the same angle. Now this one needs to go first. Let's just nuke this bevel. Let's run this one first. Shift click here, and then we're gonna run this bevel on the top. This should do, more or less. Okay, let's just grab this one, move it up a bit. And I think I want this one a little bit more shallow, so let's drop another Control R here. Let's remove these two, and let's link them here at G0 and combine them. Yeah, it's better. I still think this should be a little bit higher. Something like this, and then we're going to run That's a bevel, right? I think so. Small one here too. And maybe even a micro bevel on this one. Usually don't run micro bevels, but you know what? Screw it. You want to do them at the end, or like in Blender, you know, using bevel shader, for example, in Materialworks, or you know, would be a good way of doing this. Cool. Now, what I want on this side here, I want kind of like a dial, okay? For I don't know, dialing, you know, frequencies, whatever. Let's run it at 10 degrees and Shift A. Let's mirror this to the other side, F. Combine them together and make it larger. Okay, and then we need to bevel these. There we go. And now we're gonna have to cut this. So what we can do is either imprint it and cut it, which is one way of doing this, or create a shape and cut it. So we could simply close this shape here, select all of it, and you know, extrude it, right? And then we could simply either cut it or cut this one on the bottom. So grab this one and bring it down. So there are two ways of doing this. One of them would be to run an edge here or an edge here after cutting. So for Q and cut it, and then we can go to solid view and grab a edge and snap it here to the top in the middle. Go to solid view and you know, snap it here, right? And then imprint it, but we can just move it here. So GY here and then Shift Q and imprint it, and click this hide occluded, and it's gonna go through the whole shape. Yeah, so now we can delete these, right, and recreate this face here. So grab that, patch it, and it should be good. And I think G1 here, or maybe G0 will be fine. Maybe G0 is fine. And then what we can do is, you know, remove all the redundant topology. So I'm gonna go to Shift Q and this non-manifold. Let's go to F menu and remove redundant topology. There we go. Cool. So now I think this is a little bit too wide, because what I want to do before we're gonna run any bevels, what I want is I want a dial here in the middle, right? So if I'm gonna place this dial here, it's gonna be a little bit too wide, okay? So, do you know what I mean? Can actually place it in the middle here. So somewhere here, right? So what we want, and this dial could stick out a little bit out here, which is gonna be kind of cool. Okay, something like this is gonna be slanted, but you know, it cannot be too large, right? So, you know what I mean? GX and move it in here, something like this, right? So these edges have to be closer. I mean these sides, right? So we can grab them, all of them here like this, and move them in. This will not work. Fantastic. So let's try one of them. Nope. Two of them. It's gonna reset the curve. Bollocks. Well, the way to fix this, okay, will be to move it in here, grab this entire face, right, all of it, and Shift D and Y and move it here. So it's more or less in the same distance. Delete all this nonsense, right, all of this nonsense, and then simply patch it. So we're going to loft it here with G1 and yeah, G1 is fine. Combine them, so J, and then try to patch the top. Actually, patch the middle first, which will not work. Hang on a second. Let me see this. This should be patchable here first. Oh, this one isn't divided here. Let me just divide this into bits, split it. There we go. One more time. Okay. Shift D this. Grab this curve here and split the curve. Boom. Did it work? What the hell? Okay, let's cut the curve. There's always a way, yeah? So let's run a cut here, a line here like this. Move it here. Select this curve, CC and cut it. So we can remove this nonsense. I'm gonna use this one as a base of this patch here. So select all these. And Shift F and patch. This didn't work. Interesting. Okay, in this case, let's just grab all these. Shift D, and then select this one, and then patch. There we go. And select this one and join them, right? Then we're gonna remove all the curves. So right click, select all, and delete them. And then we're gonna patch this one here. So Shift F and patch. And there should be G1 in here. And then we can nuke this one and we're good to go, right? And then we can delete the redundant topology. So F, redundant, and boom, right? Then Alt H and repeat G. So now we can repeat the bevels, yeah? So let's run the bevels here first, right? And then let's run bevels here. You can hold Shift and you can actually click here to make the same size. Control E and repeat G, Alt H, and we should be good to go. I think my dial disappeared. I'm gonna make a new one. It's okay. Press B for new body and you're good to go. There we go. So now this dial needs to be slightly slanted as well. So we're gonna just grab a line here and align it with Shift. And we're going to cut it, right? So let's just nuke this. And then we're going to, whoops, let me just nuke that. There we go. Grab this face here and drop it down a little bit. I'm gonna offset it. And drop it down here, right? And make it a bit smaller. So there's a dial. And this could be slightly larger. And chamfer it. It's gonna look really good. In fact, could be chamfered deeper than this, right? So we could grab this face, offset it, and nuke these two, and love these two at G0. It's gonna look really cool. And merge them together, right? Okay. So a little bit flatter, you know, kind of cool. This could be a little bit thicker in the bottom, so we could just grab this one and just, you know, drop it down a bit. Can hold Shift. And this could be actually beveled here from the bottom as well. There we go. And then, you know, we could have some tiny bevels here too, but we can think about it later. What I also want is I want cuts on this, right? So we want a tiny opening here like this with a chamfer. And then I want cuts here, so create one C, press B for new body, make it smaller, move it somewhere here. Okay. And we're going to chamfer this, bevel these two. In fact, I'm gonna bevel all of them. So bevel this. To do it in order, it's fine. Let's bevel these, then bevel this one. This is gonna create a kind of a crooked bevel. We could change to chordal, and here too. And this also should be chordal, but this one didn't work. So let's do it one more time. Chordal, and this will not work. Oh wait, there's a chamfer, and chordal. This one worked perfect. So now let's drop it down here, move it outside. There we go, and then we're gonna pop a radial array. Okay, select this one and then Q, and simply cut it. Right, and then we can select this face, Control 2 to select edges, and then we're gonna just bevel them, right? Bevel these and Bob's your uncle, right? And there's your dial. And then in addition, what we can do is run grooves on this. So, well, that's easy. Let's just run an edge here and pipe it. And we're gonna make this smaller. And maybe, whoops, shorter here. Let's run a bevel on this. Then we're gonna, let me see that. Let's make this a little bit larger. So S, Shift Z. Okay, and then we're gonna radial array this. I don't know, 50 times. 60. Something like that. And we're gonna have to make it shorter on this side, so let's grab them. Let's go to local view and let's just cut them here. Oh, we need to get the same angle, right? So let's put them in a group. Control. In fact, you know what? We could cut this one. It's gonna be easier. So select this one, Q, boom, and cut this like this. It's gonna be easier. I think it's gonna be cooler too. So let's leave it like that. Cool. And there's your dial. In fact, we could make this run through the entire width of it. So make it larger. There we go. Then select both, go to local, and one more time, Q, and then boom, like this, right? So it's gonna go through the entire shape. It's gonna look a bit better. Now, if you wanted to bevel these, that's a bit tricky, but what you could do is press 2, select just the middle ones, right? See that? And then press B for bevel, and you can actually bevel them at the same time. One more time, B. Where's the bevel? Here. Let's go a bit slower here. Okay, and then here too. Start beveling this. Shift click, boom, right? And there you go. There's your dial, okay? Looking good. Now this one I was thinking could be a little bit longer, so we could just fix this. Bollocks. Just remove these. There we go. Nuke this one. So hang on, let me just nuke the bevel. Nuke this bevel, then nuke this one. What the hell? Match it. There we go. What's this? There we go. One more time. And what I want to do, I want to extrude it actually down here to create a longer piece. So we're gonna have a dial here in the bottom too. And then chamfer this one. And then we're gonna, you know, do the same things. Offset it just a little bit. Pop it in. Then chamfer this or bevel this. And bevel these. Bevel these two. I think that's better. You know, like thinking about design and basically being able to come up with some cool stuff and sort of seeing things and issues at a glance, it kind of takes time, but it's, you know, it's a great fun of the 3D journey. But if you need help with it, then we have a fantastic coaching program right now, which is kind of very personalized and a sort of very individually structured and tailored to a given person's needs. So if you need help with Blender design, plasticity, improving whatever that you need to improve, give us a call, and we're gonna hop on the chat and see if we can help you. The link is in the video description, by the way. Yeah, so here, see, this bevel will not work. Again, well, we could try this one. Yeah, there you go. It's gonna work. So let's go with that. And actually, I'm gonna repeat the same thing on the bottom. It's gonna work here too on the bottom, right? Did it work? Nope. Okay. Boom, right? So that's that. Here in the bottom, what I would like to have is some sort of like a, like a battery, compartment or whatnot, maybe. So do this, and let's actually extrude it. And we're going to bevel this as well. And then move it in. And then cut it. So Q, and I think it's Shift Q. Yeah, Shift Q is slice. Okay, that's what I want. So nuke this nonsense, so we got a slice piece here. So let's do this and do this. And then bevel this one. There we go. And then we can run another cut here. B. And then move it in. And let me actually go to local, and what I want is I want to chamfer. There we go. And make it larger and move it here. And we're going to cut it. So cut that. Maybe that's a little bit too deep. Something like this. Yeah, see what I mean? So that will do. And, or in fact, what we could do here is the other way around. So what we could do is, let's nuke this bevel. And we could actually move this up. Oops, we could actually Shift D this, Shift F, taken, move it here, make this wider. Come on. Align these, there we go. Make this thicker. And bevel this, there we go, like a button to push, whatever, to open it, right? That's better. Cool, and here, what I want is I want some sort of you know, we could do this with a pipe actually. I mean pipe, the cylinder. I'll tell you why. Cylinders are better for this. What I want to do is because you can round the sides. So watch. If I grab a cylinder here and pop it in here in the middle. Can I even do that? I'm just gonna eyeball it, doesn't matter. What I can do, see, is when I'm gonna scale this down. I can select the edge here. Come on. I'm clicking this side by mistake. I have to click here. I can grab this edge here, start beveling, click here, and it's gonna create a perfect half a sphere, which is what I want. Boom, see what I mean? So then I can array this around this shape. So did it work? So like that. There we go. Then array this. Boom. And there you go, right? And we could put them in separate group, you know. This could be separate groups. So in fact, yeah, Control G and just call it grips middle, so we can kind of, you know, put some color on them. In fact, what I could do, I select the cylinder here in the middle and I could slash it like this. So let me see this. Go to local view, there we go. So press C, one more time, C and cut it. So see, like when I'm gonna grab this bit here, yeah, I can actually put it, I can assign different color to it, yeah. So we could make it, for example, rubber, and it's gonna kind of follow this element here. So there you go. This front here, I mean from the top, I'm sorry. We can run some interesting stuff here. So let's just for this. There you go. And we're going to pop this lower and then Shift D and then Shift F and thicken. And I'm gonna create kind of like a pattern here. So O to scale this and boom. And then we're gonna array this. So in fact, before we array this, let's just bevel this, yeah. So chamfer here and grab these and just simply bevel them a little bit. And this one too, right? Okay, and then we're gonna grab this and array this, right? I don't know, 15 times, whatever. Okay, 17. Cool, and then we're going to grab this one and simply extrude it and delete this nonsense and round it up like that. Cool. So that's our antenna. Should be good. This could be maybe a little bit wider. There you go. And bevel here. Cool, peachy. So that's that. Now here on the side, I might actually nuke this bevel. This one, if I can, 3. I would need to select it manually, which I can do. Takes time, but okay. And go to local. When you're designing something, you have to have patience because you're going to be going back and forth, and it is what it is. Just nuke this. There we go. Because what I want to do here is I want to create kind of like sort of like plugs or whatnot. So B for new body, pop it in, and GY, and I want to make 2 of them, so hang on. Let's go in, and it's gonna stick out too much. This should be chamfered. In fact, could be a little bit deeper. There we go. In fact, you know what? It's gonna be fine if this is beveled. I just realized. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. So we're gonna have a bevel here. This one should be beveled like this, and then we can combine them, bevel them all around. But before we do that, let's design them completely, right? Or in fact, we can do it together. Okay, so in fact, you know what would be cool? I just thought of something diabolical. Shift D and move it here. Run the isoparam. Oops, run the isoparam on this one. Come on. Somewhere here. Nuke this one. Make this one smaller. And then combine them with loft. Like this. Right, and join them. And then bevel this. I think it's gonna be more interesting. Let me see that. Yeah, it could be more interesting. Maybe something like this. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Okay, cool. Let's do this one. So now let's grab this and Shift D and Y and move it somewhere here. And we're gonna merge them together. So QQ, right? And then we're gonna run the bevel on these, but they're too deep. Wait, GX, whoops. GX. Wait a minute, what the hell? Is it doubled? No. GX, there we go. Because I need space for bevel here, you see that? Oh, wait a minute, that's an isoparam. Oh, because it's a bevel. I'm gonna make it simpler. So, let me just isolate this. Let me just nuke this. Right, let's grab this one, extend it. So, extend the edge, yeah, and then close it. So patch it. And I'm simply gonna run a bevel on this. So, gonna run a bevel, whoops, gonna run a, come on, chamfer here like this. And then I'm gonna run a small bevel here. And then I'm gonna be able to do this. So, 4 Shift D, Y, and then QQ, and then it should be better. So, yeah. So let's see that now. F and bridge surfaces. Yeah, see, that's much better. So here too. There you go, more or less the same. It's not the same. Can we actually borrow the size here? No, we can't. Fuck. Can I run both of them at the same time? That's a good question. I can't. Well, there you go. That's a limitation we found. More or less the same, right? Yeah, that looks alright. That looks alright. That looks alright. And then we need, obviously, chamfers. I mean, sorry, bevels here. Small ones. And then we can, whoops, we can insert this. Grab these two, put them in, chamfer them, grab these, offset them, right? want to create kind of like, you know, plugs or whatnot. So, boom, right? Actually, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. So that's that. And, you know, this whole surface here gonna be clean. We're gonna have just screws. And we can do it with decals, you know. Screw here, screw here, screw here, and screw on the top, something. Now here what I want is, I want a cut here. So let's bevel it and move it here somewhere. And we're gonna just literally cut it and bevel this. And then select this one, start beveling and shift click. That's gonna isolate it very nicely. And then I want another one here. So we want the same size, right? So let's grab this, where is it? Oh, different line. I deleted it, right? Okay, so it's okay. We're gonna grab these two and shift D them, and we're gonna extend them. So shift Q, and it didn't work. Okay, fair enough. So in this case, we're just gonna grab a regular curve, and we're gonna do this. Okay. I'm gonna trim this nonsense and nuke these two. Right. Now, so now what we want is we want to move this one in here and arrange it somehow. This could be aligned with the edge or end of these, that's fine. This could be a little bit less tall, but you know what, it's fine. Let's bevel this and let's imprint it so we can drop it down, right, and create a bevel here. Now what we want is we want 3 buttons in this area. So let's grab this mesh and bring it up, and we're going to divide it into 3 parts. We could measure this to be accurate, but I can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? Modeling is like sex, okay? Don't plan that shit, you know what I mean? Just go for it. That's how you approach stuff in life, okay? Yeah, fuck it, that's good. Let's just cut it. And also we're gonna cut it here. So we're gonna cut it like this. In fact, yeah, this is fine. Whoops. And then let's just grab these. In fact, let's just nuke this one. Let's just grab these 3 and thicken them. Let's go back and let's put them back down here. So GZ, and put them back down here like this. And we need to, you know, bevel these. So which one is it? This one? No. It's too many fucking edges. I'm just gonna eyeball this. So run an edge bevel here. It could be actually wider. And then run the bevel here, shift click, then run the bevel here, shift click, and run the bevel here. Cool, and then we're gonna run the bevel on these, right? So that's buttons, and then we have, I can just nuke this nonsense. In fact, wait a minute, not. In fact, yeah, we can nuke this. We can just simply run an isoparam on this one. So Alt R and hold Shift. Whoops. We're just gonna run an edge here. And then we're gonna imprint it on this one. Grab this, Shift D, and then we're gonna thicken it up here like this. And by the way, these buttons need to be popped down a little bit. And you know what I was thinking? I might actually cut them. Yeah, this could be good. Where's this fucking line? This one, right? Whoops. C and cut it. Let me see that. Could nuke all these. Boom, right? Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Let me just turn off this nonsense. Let me remove these bevels. Cool. Now, bevel just these. There you go. And then we're gonna bevel these. Perfection. And then we're gonna have this this thing here, which is gonna be, let me just go to local view and select these two. Oops, select these two edges. Come on. What? Oh, there's a tiny bevel here. Look at that. Sneaky cunt. There we go. Let me see if this is not too big. I think it's gonna be fine. I mean, straight would be probably better. I'm gonna make this slightly smaller, so there's not a massive gap over there, and run the bevel here. There we go. You see that? Yeah, because what I want to do now is I want to create kind of like a, what do you call this thing? Hang on, I need some water. I want to create some kind of like a speaker, some such. Oh, that's better. Right. So for this one, we're gonna do. There are many ways of doing this. What we could do is grab a box and be this, right, for separate body. Make it really small and rotate it by 45 degrees like this, and then oops, rotate it like 45 degrees like this, right? Just put it in here, grab this bottom here and cut it like this, right? Oops. And then bevel these. Okay, and then bevel this one. Can I actually do this? That's gonna be too small. You know what? We can do this with a mat later on. So grab this and, you know, pop it somewhere here. Make it a bit smaller and pop it down. Okay, and then we're gonna array this. this we're gonna be good. Let's see 10. Let's see 12. Let's see 15. 15 could be good. Drop it a little bit lower. Yep. And then we're going to array this the other way. So here, on this. Right? And then we're gonna put them in a group. Here. Control G. And speaker cuts. Or whatever. And then we're going to grab this one and select all, and this one, go to local, select this one, press Q, and just drag them and cut them, right? And you're gonna get this, which is pretty cool, right? So you got this kind of cool pattern here. Now I think it should be a bit more centered, to be honest. So let me just move this here. Maybe even here. It's gonna be better, I think. So 4 Q, boom, right. And there you go. And this can be beveled, you know, manually. I mean, sorry, procedurally, because beveling this, just the bottom needs to be beveled, right? So this is a cool pattern, right? And then we could have some kind of like a, you know, we could have some kind of like a small cut here in the bottom. So, you know, something like this here to access it, right, or whatever. So it's kind of like a tiny cut here. So C and cut it to go through. There we go. And just nuke it, right? And then we can just, you know, bevel this and bevel this one, right? And boom, Bob's your uncle, right? It's a bit too fucking big. It's like you have to be careful with the shadows, because what I mean by that is that every single cut like this is gonna create a deep shadow. In fact, you know what we could do? Instead of cutting this, we could imprint this, right? And when you imprint this, what you can do is, instead of cutting through the whole way, all the way down, just create a tiny sort of like a relief, or whatever it's called. And it's going to be less shadow. It's like, look at this, right? See the shadow? You can see the accent of the detail, but you don't see, it's not just like really, really deep, right? In the same thing actually with the buttons here. I think these bevels are a bit too aggressive. So in order to fix them, we would need to clean these bevels first. Then basically redo these. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them smaller, much smaller, right? Something like this maybe. And then this one. And then we can run bevel on these. In fact, the chamfer could be interesting here. A tiny chamfer, and then we can run micro bevel on them. We're gonna get this tiny planar shift on these buttons, you know. And we could have some, you know, I don't know, graphics on them, whatever, but it's fine. Now this the side here could be slightly secured. So what we could do is run kind of like a bracket here. So we could start here, here, here. Could run a bracket like this. Could do something like this here. So we're gonna have these corners first, these second, and this is third. And we're going to extrude it down. Place it in the middle. And thicken it, obviously. Press tab to go both ways. And just align this. And then we're gonna get some cuts. So we could do it with C. B and bevel. Could cut it in here. Let me just actually create a shape out of this, because I think I prefer it, because then I have a control over what I'm cutting. So that's gonna be good. So let's cut this one. Press T to keep the tools. And let's move this one up. Whoops. Now what I would love to do is move this deeper. Yep. Then cut this one. Right. And then we can cut circular cuts here. So Shift D and move them here. Whoops. And scale them. So you can't do it like in Blender. Okay, fuck it. So let's scale it in here. I'm gonna eyeball this. And then Shift DY, and we could actually align it here like this. And then select select them both and cut them here. Right, so now can nuke this nonsense here. And then we can run a bevel on all of these at the same time. Boom. And there you go. That's interesting. Now here, here at the bottom, again, I would probably prefer to do this. Well, we could do this with a pipe, to be honest. Yeah, no, just this one always works better for me. So we need some cuts here too. So make it smaller, and in fact, you know what? Maybe you could just cut through like this. Like that. Maybe that's the way to go, or like this. Let's try it. Let's just array this. There's too many of them. Let's make it 40. That'll do, I think. So Q and select all and cut it. There we go. That's good. It's perfect. And then we just need to bevel them. So select all these and just bevel them ever so slightly. That's a chamfer. One more time. We could really do this with with the matte in Blender, you know. It's gonna be a bitch here to bevel them. Actually, it worked. There we go. That worked. And then the last thing will be the screws, right? The last thing will be the screws. But like I said, I want to do it in, you know, in Blender. It's gonna be easier, right? Here too, we have some, you know, could have some ring in here as well. Whoops. Something like this. It's gonna look pretty cool. And the top is fine. We do need some bevel here, so let's move this up a little bit and bevel this here and bevel this here. There we go. This could be a little bit wider. Boom, right? That sits nicely. And I think we're done. Yeah, so the next part's gonna be rendering, so I think we should do it, right? Because why not? Now what we could do, we could import this to Plasticity using Bridge, or we could export it as OBJ. Now OBJs, I don't know, sometimes there's a weird shading problem, so I usually use Bridge to export it. So what you want to do is you want to go to internet and you want to type Plasticity Bridge. And where is it? Set up Bridge. There you go. Download this nonsense. Put it on desktop. I already have it. So there you go. Let's open Blender 4.4, which in Windows 11 takes 7 hours to open. There we go. Let's drag it in. Okay. Go to End Panel. Click on this thing and connect. And it should connect. And for some reason it doesn't. Okay, then let's go to 4.3. Let's bring it in here. Okay, and Plasticity connect. What the hell? Let me just restart Plasticity. Hang on. Let me just go. Yeah, let me close it. Let me start it up. Okay, and then connect. Oh, there we go. Something was bugged. And live link and refresh. There we go. If it's rotated, press Alt R and it's gonna be fine. So you see now we got beautiful shading all over the place. This could be a little bit better, but I'm not gonna be fixing it. Can be bothered. But all these look good. So yeah, we peachy, right? And all they come in, like if you have groups in Plasticity, they're gonna be maintained in here, which is really cool. So let's let's create a file here. So let's just save it. So Sci-Fi device YouTube, right? And we're gonna run a power save because reasons. Never trust Blender. Trusting Blender is an illusion. So let's apply scale. Then let's solidify it. And let's pop it down here. So we have lovely shadows. There we go. Let's set the camera and 1440. I think I might actually go with 3421 by 9. Just saying. Let's go with, maybe not. Maybe let's go with 300 or 250. And let's just lock it to view. Let's just do something like this. We want to leave a little bit of a breathing space there. But antenna is not so important. This is important, right? So I could even crop it a little bit if you wanted to. That's kind of cool. Unlock from view, and then we can go to render view. And we're gonna use our add-on, Material Works. By the way, all the courses, the entire curriculum and this add-on are included in Academy, the one I mentioned before. So if you are interested in getting personal help from us and you require some personal guidance in hard surface, Blender, Plasticity, or whatever it may be, then click the link in the video description and give us a call. We're going to schedule a chat between us and see if we can help you. And we're gonna take it from there. So book a call and I'll see you there. But anyway, going back here, I'm gonna be using our add-on because it's freaking amazing, and that's a fact. Let's go here with aluminium, and we're going to the scale actually is fine. I might drop it down a bit. Transform. Yeah, let's make it smaller. It's gonna look more posh. Do you know what I mean? And this one too on the same mat actually. In fact, we could just copy that. Okay, this one too should be, I think, the same mat. And now these, which is, where is it? There we go. Grips on these ones, right? Select up, there we go. Let's go to rubber. Synthetic rubber, right? Oh, wait a minute, I need to select all of them. Okay. Then click on this and copy. There we go. Then we got this one. We're gonna copy this too. Boom, so I got the grip. This one should be, this one actually could be darker. And these could be aluminum as well. Or actually this could be machined steel. Ooh, maybe this one is better. Hard to tell. We could just make it more rough. Could be interesting. This one could be the same color here. These ones, I forgot to put them in a group. Just select them all one by one and copy the rubber. Whoops. There we go. Oh, come on. Let me just hide this nonsense and there we go. This one could be darker too. Same with the buttons. Same with this one. And this one could be also darker. And this one could be the same metal, right? Yeah, that looks good. And this one needs to be also rubber. Perfect. And then we need screws, right? And for this one we can use our decals, which by the way you can use with the add-on, which is really convenient. So let's just grab a screw here and let's just go to the top view for a second. Let me see this. Move one here. Another one could be moved here. And the third one could be here, and we can make them a little bit smaller, a little bit too big. Whoops. See, that's what I would like to have in plasticity, individual origin scaling and all that. This could be moved a little bit on the outskirts of this shape. Right. And then we're gonna have we need some kind of a sticker here. Pop it in here, make it a little bit larger. Let me see this now. How do we align this, right? Could be aligned in here in the middle. That might work. Or to the left with this edge here, like this. So let's just align this in here and then GY and pop it down here. This could also work. And then we can change the color to darker, right? See this? Yeah, that looks elegant. You see, now I got this breakage. The screws we can just pop here. So shrink wrap them. There we go. And we're gonna have some additional, you know, notches here and there. For example, could have two small ones here. 1, 2. You don't want to overdo the details. Not a good idea. Okay. Now these are all triangulated, which is a problem, but it's okay. When you import, you can change the settings. I should have actually gone with quads because then I could put some trim sheets on this, but I could use a quad remesher, but I think I have not installed it, so fuck it. I'm just gonna leave it the same here. We could use some trim sheets, but you know, it's fine. On the bottom, maybe somewhere here, we could have some kind of like a, you know, light whatnot. Maybe a blue one. Maybe this could be, oh, where do we place this? That's a good question. Maybe here? Not sure about that. Wait a minute. Let me align this here. Oops. Then GY. Drop it down. See if it's gonna be a good idea here. Beautiful after. Yeah, I like that. That's actually working. Not crazy about this secondary cut here, but we could put it inside of the cut. Hang on. Let me just unshrink wrap it. Yeah, this could work. I just make it smaller and pop it there. Let's see that. No, this was a better idea, I think. Just make it smaller. So let's make this active element here and scale it towards active element. Let me see that now. I do want something here, but I mean some kind of a light. Maybe here. Or maybe on the bottom. Somewhere here. You know what? This could be maybe a good idea. Maybe not white, maybe different color. Hang on. But you see, blue would just really fit nicely here. You could pop a light in here, actually. This would fit. Yeah, that's fit. That fits. Nice. I just like this space here really clean. What we could do here is pop something else. Not this one. Where do I have it? This one. Could be some sort of a port. How this looks. I just prefer it it's so clean and kind of simple. I think I prefer this one to be clean. I just really like negative space and you know, like pristine surfaces. Now, what we could do here is run a bevel on this, 16, and this one too here. You're gonna get some bevel on edges that, you know, we missed in terms of beveling, so including the screws. So I think it's gonna be all right, and I think we're good. And the buttons, I mean, I don't have any numbers or decals with numbers, whatever, but do we? We could actually get these. So run this one. And disconnect it. And then here, run this one. Let me just make sure they're the same size, more or less. And the same thing. And then the last one could be this one. Just eyeball the color. Let me see that. Yeah. This could work. Might be better without it. It just looks so clean. I prefer it clean. Or we could make them smaller. Whoops. Individual regions. That's actually working for me. This could be darker. There we go. Oh, white. But I think dark is gonna be better because everything is dark. And at the bottom we could have a serial number too, so you know, because reasons, right? Just let's put it the correct way around, which is this one. Okay, make it small and put it somewhere here in the bottom, right? And pop. And we can make it darker. So this one, route disconnect. There we go. Yeah, a bit darker. Don't make things pure black, yeah? Not a good idea. Like this rubber, for example, I think it's a little bit too dark. You know, I'm just gonna make it a little bit less. See what I mean? Maybe a bit darker, but... So you want it dark, but not too dark, so it kind of fits with the design. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's better. And the floor, we need something on the floor too. Maybe... We could have something darker, maybe? Possibly. Let me see that. Right. Let me just scale this. Now what we can do, we can actually, since the light is coming from the top, right? We could put the reflector here in the bottom. So we could do something like this. Plane RY, sorry, and make it larger. You see, I'm gonna bounce the light back onto this scene. It's a bit of a trick. Put a white mat on it and move it closer. And the larger it is, the more light you're gonna reflect back. So we can get some light back on it here, you see, kind of like a bounce light. So if we find this here, that's before and after, right? So it's a little bit brighter. And this one, we forgot to put a mat on it. There we go. So that's pretty cool. I think we arrived. So we can also pump more light here, let's say 1.2. And let's see how this is going to render. That looks pretty clean. You see, now you can actually see the bottom of the design. It's not purely black. If you want to, you can render 3 renders. You can render this one, no background and no reflector, and you can kind of, you know, like there's a lot of reflection happening here. In fact, what I wouldn't mind doing, I wouldn't mind actually roughening this matte a little bit. Boom, see, make it a bit more kind of like a powdered. So it fits more with this rubber and the rest. So it's not so shiny, right? Tiny detail, but important. Let's see this. Oh, that looks better, see? And it's not reflecting light so badly. It kind of melds with the design a bit better. That looks really cool. I like that. So we can save this one. So let's save it. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to render one without the reflector. Okay, so select this one and nuke this. So you see, now we get a bit deeper shadows, and we can kind of decide which one we want when we're going to bring it to Photoshop. And that's pretty good. So it's going to be no reflector. And then we're going to have one more render without the background, right? So let's just find the background and render one more time. So this one's going to be for cutouts. These nuances when you're rendering are one of the most... Oh shit, I fucking cancelled. Are one of the most difficult things to get right because you have to be sensitive, so you know, to so many things like negative space, visual anchors, overall balance, colors, lighting. But rendering is something you shouldn't be skipping. We ran at the moment, I don't know how many, 70, 80 coaching calls. and for like, 2 or whatever years. And the recurring question I'm getting on the calls is usually rendering and design, etc. So this is where people are getting stuck all the time, and it's really important because transparent background, because that's going to break or make your portfolio, and this is really essential for not just getting jobs but also becoming better at hard surface modeling, simply because it's all connected. Okay, designing is connected to lighting, framing, composition, so it's all the same principles, right? And this is why this coaching I told you about, it's so essential. So if you're really serious about coaching and really serious about getting better at Blender and hard surface in general, click the link in the video description, grab the call, and let's have a chat and see if we can help you, because we're able to help, hundreds of people already through coaching, and they were getting jobs, gigs, the business improved, and you can read all the testimonials on the page. So go ahead and, check it out. Anyway, let's go to Photoshop. But before I do that, I want to save this. So I'm going to save it as a packed file. You want to pack all your resources so you don't have to, retexture it next time. So I'm going to call it packed. And I'm going to save it here. Cool. So let's just collapse these two. And now we're going to go to Photoshop. So let's grab these and let's go get some fun. Pop them in here. So now that's our main layer. This is our darker layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this one, hold shift, and we're going to just pop it in. See, like for example, this layer here without the reflector has better shadows here, but this one's a bit dark, so we can kind of mask it. And this one's going to be for cutout. So hold shift, boom, right, turn it off. Now this one, let's alt click here on the mask. So we're going to grab a brush, and first I'm going to kind of adjust the mask so I'll be able to see stuff here, but it's going to be super bright, and I'm going to completely remove it from this area here. So just, paint it over here, and let me see that. Hang on a second. White, and there we go. Let's just remove it from here. I don't really need a reflector to affect any of these. See, now I can adjust it just the way I want it here. See, just the bottom, see that? So I can see a little bit better here. This is fine. Cool. So now let's fix the background. We have a little bit of brighter background there, so we can grab some curves and either darken the top, or we can brighten the bottom here. Brighten the bottom, right? So brighten the bottom. Grab the brush here and simply paint black on top. So let's see that. So you see, brighten this bottom a little bit here to open it up. And now we can actually have some fun editing. So let's go to filter and camera raw. We're gonna have to pump some clarity, but also open some shadows. There we go, and maybe drop the whites a little bit. Okay, you see that? One more time. It's too aggressive. Okay. Okay. Actually, whites are fine. You see that now? That's actually pretty decent. Maybe we can reduce the effect on whites a little bit. Cool, and then we're gonna go to the collection. Okay. What we want is pro contrast, which is, let me just nuke this nonsense. Pro contrast here. Let me see that. Protect the highlights. We could run some cross processing on it. That's pretty cool. That's cool as well. That's actually really cool. Hmm. Maybe I'll keep it original. Another thing we could try is lookup table, which is here. Let's see what we have here. That's interesting. Obviously, we need to drop the opacity on it. Another thing we could do is switch it to a color, so it will not affect the brightness. And that one is cool. So see, if I switch here now to color, it will affect just the color, but not the not the brightness or contrast or saturation. I mean saturation a bit, but let me see the rest. This one is cool as well. It's a bit too bright. This one is also cool. This one is cool as well. So you switch to color, and you see just it affects color. It doesn't really affect the brightness that much. So we could still reduce the opacity here and inject a bit of a color. Maybe I want a blue. I can't decide. It's kind of sci-fi, so maybe blue is gonna be good. This one isn't bad. You have to protect the shadows a bit. The highlights a little bit. That's actually pretty cool. Might go with that one. And we could stack it with the film grain, which is really cool. It's gonna add a little bit of contrast, but it's fine. It's gonna make it a bit more alive. And you know what you can do now? We can select the background and we can just run a mask on it, invert it, right? And you're going to edit only the model itself, right? In this case, it will not really work because we change color. but it's an option. So another way of doing this would be to invert selection, grab the curves, and simply darken the background, sorry. So you're gonna have a little bit of a darker background and it's going to pop. You can't make it too dark because it's gonna look weird, but maybe you should make it brighter. There you go, I think we're good. I think we're good. Final thing, we could pop just the logo here on the bottom. So the way I do it, usually, so pop it somewhere here. Select with Control, turn it off, grab curves, and lower them down. Now this needs to be somewhere here. Could go either, I think white's gonna be better. Yep, white's gonna be better. And in the top, we just put our logo. Let's just pop a white one, it's fine. And do the same trick. And there you go. You could run a vignette on it, but I think we're good. Well, that's it, guys. That's it for the video. And like I said, if you need personal help, if you need coaching, if you're struggling with Blender, hard surface, whatever it may be, you're using Blender for work, you're transitioning, you know, there are many different cases. Click the link in the video description. Check out our coaching program. It's really a premium program, and you can book a call if you're interested. And we're gonna hop on a call, have a loose chat, and see if we can help you, okay? So again, click the link in the video description, and we're gonna see you there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.